When it comes to console modding, I try and abide by one universal rule, and that rule is I will never jailbreak or install a custom firmware on a current generation console. Any hardware mods I don't mind doing, but I always try and avoid making alterations to the system's software until a successor is announced. But the Nintendo Switch has been out for so damn long, and as of the making of this video, Nintendo has yet to announce the successor to the console. So being the impatient ass that I am, I need one of these modded ASAP. But first, a quick word from the sponsor of today's video, Flexispot. Flexispot is one of the major leaders in the kinetic furniture movement worldwide. Their standing desks are durable, easy to set up, made of quality materials, all while managing to be really stylish. I was able to set mine up in a little under an hour. They have a wide variety of different setups that will fit almost any room's aesthetic and can be stationary or have locking wheels. Flexispot desks have 3 stages of adjustment from a powerful motor that's nice and quiet. Flexispot desks can lift up to 355 pounds with ease. And they're so confident with its durability, it's backed by a 15-year warranty. One of the things I really like about this desk is the control module has a bunch of programmable presets that can save your desired level of comfort, making it really convenient while using the desk for multiple purposes. I use mine as a work desk and to film on, while being used for work, for production, or even a gaming setup. Flexispot desks are a premium option, and the desks are really just the tip of the iceberg. Flexispot has a variety of different kinetic furniture, all designed to service your work, hobby, or even gaming needs. I'll put links to Flexispot in the description in case anyone's interested. And now, back to our video. Now I have a version 1 Switch that I got at launch that I can easily mod without having to install a mod chip or anything like that. But I still go online with this one and I don't want to get banned, and I still want to be able to use online services. I do, however, have a Switch Lite that I really don't play all that much these days, so I figured this would be the perfect console to go ahead and install custom firmware. Only one problem, and that's my soldering skills are beginner level at best. Now, while shopping around for a gift on Etsy, I stumbled across a lot of these storefronts that offer these mail-in and Nintendo Switch modding services. I was a bit skeptical at first, but I decided to click a bunch of them and started looking at some of the reviews. A lot of these seemed pretty legit, and the price for a service like this really wasn't all too bad. So I decided I would get this Nintendo Switch Lite modded and put it in the hands of one of these pros that have been doing it for a while. Now the task came picking the right one for me. I stumbled across this guy's storefront, goes by the name of Hunter Custom. He had outstanding reviews, everyone had nothing but good things to say about him, and he even had a personal website showcasing some of his talents. The guy's been doing this for a really long time, and seems to have a good grasp on this console modding bit. So I went ahead and made the purchase, and within an hour I received a message from the guy. He basically confirmed my order and gave me the address where I would be mailing my console to. And I told him I'd send it over sometime this weekend. I asked him if I should sign out of my Nintendo account, and he suggested backing up any game saves and unlinking the console from the Nintendo account. So I did everything he suggested and I packaged up my Switch nice and tight. I actually found this old box that was used for a microphone that had this built-in foam insert into it. So I just kind of cut around some of the foam inserts and was able to get the Nintendo Switch in there pretty nice and snug. So the following Monday, I took it over to my post office and I shipped it out. I hit him up right away, let him know the Switch was heading to him and that I'll message him again the estimated date it was scheduled to arrive. I paid for expedited shipping, so it was supposed to arrive over to him in about 3 days. 4 days later, I decided to hit him up and find out if my Switch made its way to him yet. He said he stopped by his P.O. box and there was nothing from me in there. So I told him no worries and that I'll look further into it and see what's going on. I pulled up the tracking number and it said the Switch was being held up in a sorting facility near where he lived. I decided just to sit back and wait a couple of days and hopefully it'll make its way through. 3 days later, the guy hits me up and asks if there's any update on the Switch. I told him it was being held up at a facility near him, and he asked if he could have the tracking number, saying that he was heading over there and he was going to go ahead and ask them directly, see if they can grab it for him. That was really cool of him, and I really appreciated it, so I went ahead, gave him the tracking number. So I get busy, caught up doing life stuff, and I don't get a chance to follow up until 3 more days later. I checked the tracking number to see if it was grabbed by him, and it says it's still being held up in the same facility. So I assume they didn't give it to him, and I decided to message him and let him know what's going on. He tells me he got caught up doing life stuff too, and he didn't get a chance to go to the facility and ask. So I decide enough time has passed. I'm gonna go ahead and reach out to the post office and see what the hell is going on with my Switch. So I file a formal inquiry asking where the hell my package is, and it takes them 5 days to get back to me. After 5 days, they tell me what I already expected to hear, and they have no idea where the hell my Switch is at. So they tell me they're going to open an investigation, but knowing how the post office works, I have very little faith that they're going to find anything. They're probably not even going to try. So I'm messaging back and forth with the guy, kind of telling him the situation, and he asks if I had insurance on the Switch. I wasn't sure if I did or didn't purchase additional insurance, so I start looking at my receipts and making a couple of phone calls. Turns out I did pay for some additional insurance. Kudos to this guy for pointing it out. So I decide to hell with this whole investigation thing. I'm just going to cash out what the Switch is worth and be done with it. Now, I still want the mod done. I still want a mod chip installed. I still want a jailbroken Nintendo Switch. So I reach out to the guy and I ask him, if I buy a new Switch Lite on Amazon and have it shipped directly to his P.O. box, will he still perform the mod? And this dude, being really awesome and really patient throughout this whole ordeal, he said, sure thing, send it on over. So I head over to Amazon and buy a brand new Nintendo Switch Lite. This time I decided to go with the blue color, and I send that over to him along with a brand new 256GB micro SD card. 3 days later, he hits me up and lets me know that he just got the Switch. He even sends me a picture of the package just to make sure that everything I ordered is actually in there. He tells me he'll get started as soon as he possibly can, and at this point I'm feeling pretty good about the whole thing. Meanwhile, the insurance claim that I filed with the post office gets completed and they send me a check in the mail for $58. They somehow investigated and determined that a Nintendo Switch Lite was only worth $58. Even a non-functional Switch Lite will run you about $60. They completely pulled this number out of their ass. Needless to say, I wasn't very happy, so I decided to contest what they offered me. And there was a whole other process that I now had to go through. So I'm doing all this back and forth with the post office, and about a week goes by. Eventually, they decided to give me $100 for my lost Nintendo Switch, and I realized this is probably as good as it's gonna get. So I just took the cash and wanted to be done with the whole situation. At this point, it's already July 1st and this whole ordeal started in May. And I also realized, wait a minute, where's the Switch Lite that I just purchased? So right away I go on Etsy and I hit up our guy and he tells me he got really busy and it's pretty much done, he just hasn't sent it out yet. He says he'll send it out sometime this weekend. A few days later, my doorbell rings and I have a brand new jailbroken Switch Lite to play with. This guy really went all out, he hooked it up, it's got everything you could possibly imagine. And despite this whole entire crazy ordeal, he stood really cool and patient the whole time. And in a surprise twist, despite feeling extremely ripped off by the post office, once they sent me that little $100 check, I actually stumbled across this non-functioning Switch at a thrift store. I bought it for about $80, and it turns out all it needed was a new battery. So now that I had this extra Switch, I went ahead and modded my V1 Switch using this RCM jig. So despite this whole crazy ordeal, I ended up with 2 jailbroken Nintendo Switch consoles. So in my opinion, that's a win and everything all worked out in the end. This is my first experience with a jailbroken Nintendo Switch, and so far it's completely living up to my expectations. This thing is awesome. I'm going to spend more time with it and figure a few more things out, and I'll do a follow-up video where I do more of a deep dive. But I thought I would just share this crazy ass story with you guys and show some love to Hunter Custom. This guy was awesome throughout this whole situation. Now, would I recommend getting your Switch modded through one of these mail-in services on Etsy? Well, I was talking to Hunter Custom about it, and he said I'm the first and only person that this has ever happened to. So I guess from a probability standpoint, you'll probably be fine, but I sure as hell wouldn't do it again. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and be on the lookout for my deeper dive into the jailbroken Nintendo Switch. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.